Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Peshawar Model Degree College Online Lecture Room. Dear students, this is Miss Fatima Shakir and today I am going to teach you a poem that is titled as Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening. Now, as a literature student, you must be aware of the term that woods is specifically used for forest, okay? So it means that the poet is trying to tell us that one day he just stopped and it was forest, the setting is in a forest, and besides that, it was evening. Okay, so this poem is written by Robert Frost, and Robert Frost is one of the most gifted American poet. He was the professor of English at one of the university, and besides that, he became the professor of poetry at Harvard. Okay. Now, as you are aware of the term that the poem is titled as Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening, let's first of all read the poem. Whose words these are, I think I know. His house is in the village though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. Okay. Now, the very first line of this poem is telling you that this man is asking a question and he says, whose words these are? And then suddenly he gives an answer as well. He's saying, I think I know. It means that to whom this forest belong, I know him personally. And he says, according to him, personally in a sense, okay, it's a hidden meaning. I'll be explaining it later. But besides that, in the next line he says, his house is in the village though. Now here he comes up with an assumption. And he says, I think he lives in a village nearby. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. And now he says that I guess, as I mentioned, that his house is in the nearby village. So obviously, it's evening time and it's snow as well over here. So obviously, it's cold as well. This man might be at his place. It means he might be in his home. And he says that the way I look at his forest, the way I admire this beauty now at this time, I'm sure he must not be aware of this thing. Now the next line he says, my little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. This is a stanza which is very interesting. Now why it is interesting? A figure of speech is used here. What is that? I'll be discussing it in the last slide, okay? Okay, now he says that it shows us that there is this man in this village, and besides that, he is having a horse with himself as well. A horse is accompanying him. And then he says that I think that my horse, he would be thinking it somewhat strange that why my master, he is waiting here at this time in this, you could say, place or in these words. Because usually it seems that this horse might have never observed this man waiting and admiring forest or place like this. So that's why. And now he says that this is the darkest evening of the year. What he means to be the darkest evening of the year here? This is a interesting one over here. Why? Because if you remember, 21st December is known as the, you could say, longest night. Is that clear to you? So this line refers to that thing. The last two stanzas, let's leave it and let's first of all come to the introduction of the poem, okay? Okay, so this is a poem in which we can see that there is a forest and there is just tranquility everywhere. Now, what is tranquility? Obviously, it refers to calmness. It refers to peace. So we can see that there is a man who is riding on a horse and he stops in the middle of the woods. As I mentioned before, that he's having a horse-drawn, you could say, or a horse he's having, vehicle he's having. So he says that maybe this is a carriage. If you have just witnessed some carriages, you know, having those horses and seats as well. So he's saying maybe it's not a simple horse, rather it's a carriage or whatsoever. The man has not given us the details over here. But he says that according to him, this is really important. The element of horse that he has used, that's really an important one. From which perspective? Okay, let me tell you. He believes that maybe this person is a man who is delivering some kind of goods, or maybe he is just going to reach his destination through these words, or maybe he's just alone. There aren't any goods with him, it's just him and the horse. It's like you could say ambiguous over here. Okay, so he's saying that as it's dark, as it's cold, and as I mentioned, it's the darkest night of the year, so that's why this horse, he is just surprised to see his master waiting here. So the horse, what he does, he shakes his bell. Now, why he shakes his bell? In order to give a sign to his master. Okay, dear students, you must be aware of this fact that animals, they do respond to you and they do speak a language. And those people who are keeping animals as pets, or you might have just witnessed it in your daily life as well, different animals, for example birds or cats or whatsoever, they have a conversation which we can't understand. So he's saying that this man is having a chemistry that is just matching with the horse. They both can understand each other. So this horse is giving him a signal that, master, are you insane, are you mad, what happened? And you are just waiting here, it's night, it's the same things. It's night, it's the 21st December, and it's dark, and it's snow as well, and it's cold as well, and it's silence as well. So what is the matter that you are waiting here? Okay, now what we can see over here is that is something really interesting. And what is that? We see that this horse is worried and he feels that it's his duty to compel his master to just leave this place and just start their journey again. So he thinks that this horse is a, you could say, an element of one's conscience. As I told you in the previous poem, that poetry is open to interpretations. So we can come up with many interpretations. And besides that, a poem that is in front of you can have thousands of different meanings from different perspectives of different people. Okay, so now we are just you could say surprised that this horse, he is giving a signal and he is asking his master to start his journey again. Okay, we can see in the last stanza, the lines are really beautiful. Why they are beautiful? Because we find the words that are used by the poet. He says the words are lovely, dark, and deep. Now he says it is something that is appealing to him. This is a place, according to the horse, as being an animal, he thinks it's useless to wait here. According to this man, according to this traveler, he finds it relaxing. He finds it soothing. He finds peace over here. And he says that this is an atmosphere in which I feel tranquility everywhere. I feel happy. I feel grateful. But the last three lines are really, you could say, they are painful. Why? Because this man says, but I have promises to keep. It means I can't wait here. I have to go. Why I have to go is the answer. I'm going to mention it now. Where I have to go is the answer again. I'm going to mention it here now. It shows the sense of duty and responsibility in these lines. It shows that one should be dutiful, one should be responsible. It shows that this man, as he started his journey, obviously he had some task, he had some duty to reach to some specific position. And now it's something that appealed to him. It appeals to his senses, but he can't wait over here. Although it's really entertaining, although it's really soothing, but he says that no, besides this thing, I have my duties, I have my responsibilities. That's why I have to move. Okay, now this is important. The students, remember, this is a poem that is full of symbols. What sort of symbols? It shows that the lonely journey of this traveler in the middle of this forest, it's actually not the journey of a single human being. Rather, it's the journey of an individual throughout his life. It shows in the last lines, these are, as I mentioned before, there is a symbolism. In the last lines, when he says, and miles to go before I sleep, According to different, you could say, critics, it is said that sleep refers to death over here. So he says, before dying, I have different tasks, I have different promises with different people. Means with I have promises with myself as well. I have different, you could say, task which I am supposed to do. That's why before death I want to finish every task that I am given. Okay, so this is what that refers to, a long journey of life till death. Okay, now you can see that the horse is puzzled, as I mentioned before, because it's these animals, they become used to you, and that's why this horse is impatient, and that's why he's shaking his bell. Okay, now alliteration, I mentioned time and again in different poems that the repetition of a consonant words in the beginning of, you could say, or the repetition of consonant words in a sentence is known as alliteration. You can see the words that are highlighted, these refers to alliteration. Okay, is dark and deep, watch, words with, see, stopping, etc. Now you can see personification. Personification is a human quality that is given to a non-living thing or to a thing that is really an inanimate object. So here he mentions over here that personification is used in a sense because he has given the ability of thinking to his horse, because his horse thinks that there is something, some, you could say, some mysteries here or some problem we might face. That's why he has personified horse over here. Then you can see hyperbole. What is hyperbole? Hyperbole is an exaggerated statement. A statement that you people just exaggerate and make it a lengthy one and adding extra information, etc. Okay? Right. So this was the end of the poem. I hope you had understood it well. And besides that, it's an easy one because you are already done with it, I guess, in class 9th or 10th. So that was it. The task that you are supposed to do is you're supposed to write the critical appreciation of the poem, right? That was it. Thank you so much.